Imagine a life where fear has no voice, completely gone, erased, dead, disappeared. Every morning you wake up and that voice is absent. You won't succeed is gone. You're not ready is gone. You're not worthy is gone. In such a life, what decisions would you make? What doors would you open? Which dreams would you chase? Let me tell you the truth. Fear is not the enemy. The real enemy is surrendering to it. Fear is natural. Everyone has it. It whispers and warns, but it only wins when you obey it. Every time you believe in fear, what do you lose? You trade power for comfort. You sell growth for security. You stop. You suffocate. You freeze. Not because you're weak, but because fear has convinced you that inaction is safety. But today is different. Today, we will expose fear and show what it is. A liar, a story, a shadow pretending to be real. Today, we will bury it. Not with empty words, but with truth, with discipline, with practice, with a purpose greater than excuses. In the next few minutes, you will learn how to stop running from fear and start hunting it, how to stand tall when your hands shake, how to act before fear passes, how to build a mind where fear has no room. Take a deep breath, step forward, don't look back, because today is the day you kill fear. Let's clarify one thing. Fear is not your enemy. Fear is instinct. It's ancient, installed in your biology, and protects you. It has kept you alive in many ways. But fear should never have been your leader, your advisor, your decision maker. Despite this, most people allow exactly this. They let fear control the wheel, then wonder why their lives go in circles. When do you feel fear? When you're about to do something unfamiliar, something risky, something that threatens your comfort. This is not weakness. It's how your brain works. But here's the truth. Fear itself doesn't stop you. Inaction stops you. The real enemy is not the fear you feel. It's the moment you pause because of it. It's the opportunity you don't chase. It's the moment you stay silent instead of speaking. It's when you say, another time. Most people wait. For what? For fear to disappear, to feel brave, to feel certain. But that moment never comes. Because courage is not the absence of fear, it's action despite it. If you're waiting to feel ready, you'll wait your whole life. Who are those who move mountains? Those who change industries, who write history. They fear too. What's the difference? They move forward anyway. This is the change, the advantage. You don't need to be fearless. Just stop obeying fear like a command. Don't give it authority it never earned. Fear can sit next to you in the car, but it doesn't touch the wheel. Not anymore. And here's the powerful part. Every time you pass through fear, it gets smaller. Every time you act when afraid, you teach your brain that fear doesn't mean stop. It means this is important. It means step forward. It means you're approaching something significant. Repetition changes reality. The more you face fear, the less control it has. You become something fear cannot live inside because you've trained your mind to act before fear settles. Next time fear rises in your chest, remember, you don't need less fear, you need more movement. Don't analyze, don't overthink, don't negotiate, just move. Because fear hates momentum, and the moment you act, fear begins to die. Fear is an excellent storyteller. It builds lies so convincing they seem like truth. It builds emotional lies that you believe. Fear's most dangerous lies are about you. You're not ready. You're not smart enough. You have no talent. You're not worthy. If you try, you'll fail. If you speak, they'll laugh. If you chase that dream, you'll be destroyed. And because fear carries your own mind's voice, you believe it, You accept it as reality, never understanding that this is just a story you've repeated so many times it became familiar. Not truth, just familiar. Fear lives in imagination. It takes a moment of uncertainty and builds a film around it. You're not just worried about a difficult conversation. You see it going terribly. You're not just hesitating to try something new. You see yourself clearly failing. You're not just afraid of rejection. You imagine humiliation and abandonment. And fear wins this way, not with truth, but with repetition. The more you rehearse the worst scenario in your mind, the more your nervous system believes it's real. When your brain believes the threat is real, your heart races, breath shortens, muscles tense. Suddenly, you're not living now. You're imprisoned in a future that hasn't happened yet. In this state, even the smallest step seems impossible. But here's the breakthrough. If fear is built by repetition, so is confidence. If fear is a story, you can tell a better story. One where when you speak, they listen. When you leap, you land. When you fail, you rise again. Because the truth is, the mind doesn't know the difference between imagination and memory. If you can imagine defeat, you can imagine victory. If you can rehearse disaster, you can rehearse dominance. Where is the battlefield? Not outside, but inside, here. The moment you stop accepting fear's script and start rewriting it, you take back control. You don't need to feel brave to act bravely. You don't need to feel certain to move forward. Just stop giving fear the microphone. Because the voice in your head is powerful, but it doesn't always tell the truth. The biggest lie it tells, fear is your limit. Lie. Fear is not your limit. It's your signal. It's the flag that says you're standing at the edge of your growth. What happens next? That's up to you. Where does fear grow? In darkness, in silence, in avoidance. The more you run from it, the bigger it gets. The more you try to overthink it, the louder it sounds. Because fear doesn't shrink with time. It shrinks with exposure. Most people make a mistake here. They wait for courage to come before they act. They wait for fear to pass before taking the first step. But courage doesn't come before action. It comes because of action. Imagine, you're standing at the edge of a freezing pool. You have two paths. Path 1, you dip your finger, pull back, come back tomorrow, think again, and still feel cold just looking at it. Path 2, you jump in, the system shocks, the body adapts, and after a few seconds, you're no longer afraid. Why? Because you experienced what your mind exaggerated. This is exposure. Not being fearless, but being willing to feel fear and still step forward. Willing to look uncertainty in the eye and say, you're not the end, you're the beginning. How do you kill fear? Not by running, but by exposure. You lean into what terrifies you. You practice what makes you uncomfortable. You make it familiar. The more familiar it becomes, the less power it has over you. In practice, speak even when your voice trembles. Show up even when your hands shake. Launch even if it's not perfect. Ask the question even if you fear the answer. This is the work. This is the training ground. Because repetition changes reality. The first time is terrifying. The second time is uncomfortable. The 10th time is routine. The 100th time is freedom. The people you admire, speakers, leaders, creators, fighters, they didn't start with courage, they started with fear. The only difference is they refused to stay that way. They built tolerance to discomfort. They didn't run from the storm, they stepped into it, again and again, until the thunder couldn't shake them anymore. The truth, fear never completely leaves, but you stop trembling when it speaks. You stop shrinking when it rises, because you've faced it enough times and know it's just a sound, a signal, and it doesn't have the final word. You do. The only way out is through the trembling, through failure, through doubt. Walk straight into the storm, not because you're unafraid, but because you know on the other side of fear lies the life you haven't lived yet, and that's a price worth paying. If you want to kill fear, you must go to its source, your mind. Because fear doesn't start in the world. It starts in your thoughts, in silent, invisible stories you tell yourself about inadequacy, about danger, about what could go wrong. Stories that play on repeat, shaping your reality without you realizing it. The truth, if you don't train your thoughts, they will train you. Left unchecked, the mind becomes a battlefield where fear always wins. But you're not here to be ruled by fear. You're here to reclaim your mind, to take back the pen and write a new script. Simple but powerful realization. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts, the architect, the programmer, the one who chooses what stays. When fear says, "You're not ready," you say, "Who says?" When it says, "You'll fail," you reply, "Maybe, but I'll learn." You change the script. You break the pattern. Because every thought is a seed. What you water grows. If you water fear, you'll harvest hesitation. If you water courage, if you fill your mind with powerful, purposeful, disciplined thoughts, courage becomes your default. This is not blind positivity. It's intentional mental conditioning. Just as athletes train their bodies, fighters train their reflexes, musicians train their fingers, you must train your mind. How? With affirmations, declare what you want to believe. With visualization, lock your eyes on the outcome. With repetition, make greatness familiar. Tell yourself what you want to believe until you become it. Speak it, feel it, act on it every day. For example, I am calm under pressure. I face fear and move forward anyway. I don't shrink, I expand. These are not just words, they are commands, and your subconscious is always listening. And don't just think these thoughts, live them. Let your actions reflect your new identity. Your mind learns by watching you. When you do something bold, when you act despite nerves, when you speak despite trembling hands, your brain records, "We do hard things now." This is how identity changes. This is how fear loses control. Remember, you're not weak for having fear, but you stay weak if you let it lead. Discipline your inner world, and the outer world will bend to meet it. Guard your thoughts like a vault, cut the lies, install the truth, and remember, you always have a choice. Fear can visit, but it shouldn't stay unless you open the door. Train your mind, or be trained by fear. The choice is always yours. What if fear wasn't a stop sign, but a signal? What if the thing you're avoiding is the thing you should be doing? Most people think fear means don't go, don't be there, don't try it, don't speak, don't risk. But in reality, fear is often a compass pointing to the edge of your comfort zone, and that's exactly where growth begins. That fire you feel in your chest, that trembling in your hands, it's not weakness, it's life reminding you that you're standing at the edge of something important. It's your spirit recognizing a moment of truth. Because the things that scare you most are usually the things that will grow you most. Public speaking, starting a business, ending a toxic relationship, stepping into your purpose. These are not dangers, they are doorways. The key? Action. Not perfection, not certainty, just movement. One step forward, straight into what terrifies you. What is courage? Not the absence of fear, but the decision to act in its presence. When fear appears, don't shrink. Lean in. Lean toward the fire. Let it sharpen you. Let it burn your excuses. Let it become fuel. The resistance you feel means you're approaching something real. You're calling your next level. What people won't tell you. Fear never completely disappears. Not for the brave, not for the successful, not for legends. Fear is still there, but they've made peace with it. They've learned to walk with it, to keep going even while shaking. What makes them fearless? Not that they feel nothing, but that they refuse to be owned by it. Next time fear appears, say, "Thank you, I see you, but I'm not stopping." And then take that step. Make the call, publish, say yes, say no, say the thing that scares you. The moment you lean toward the fire, fear begins to fade, and what remains is freedom. Here's the truth nobody wants to hear. You won't become fearless by waiting to feel brave. You don't kill fear with feelings, you kill it with discipline. Motivation comes and goes. It's a spark, quick, loud, exciting, but short-lived. Discipline, on the other hand, is the steady flame. It's the engine behind every fearless life. What's the difference? When you train yourself to act, not when you feel like it, but when it needs to be done, you become dangerous. You become untouchable. What is courage? Not lightning, but a decision. A daily decision to show up, to do the hard things, to lean into discomfort again and again, even when your mind screams for safety, especially then. The greats understand this. They don't wait for confidence, they act. And confidence catches up. They don't wait for fear to vanish, they do the work anyway, and fear learns it has no place there. Discipline silences fear because it removes the negotiation. There's no debate. No, should I or shouldn't I? The decision has already been made. The alarm rings, you rise. The task is hard. You do it anyway. The voice of doubt whispers, you move forward despite it. This is discipline. This is how the fearless are made. Look what happens. The more you act in the presence of fear, the more you rewire your mind. You teach it that fear is not danger, it's data. And data doesn't control you, it informs you. Ask yourself, are you living by feeling or by principle? If fear still calls the shots, it's time to change. What should you do? Build rituals that strengthen your mind, surround yourself with vision, keep commitments to yourself. One small act of courage every day. One day you'll wake up wondering why you let fear run the show. Discipline makes you consistent, and consistency makes you inevitable. Imagine, you're lying on your deathbed, final moments. Around you are not just memories, but every dream you didn't pursue, every risk you didn't take, every version of you that could have existed, and they look at you with one question. Why did you let fear decide for you? Look, fear doesn't just steal your moments, it steals your legacy. It convinces you to shrink, to play safe, to sit when you should stand tall. What if you knew the cost? What if you could see the future fear is silently stealing from you? What most people don't understand, they're choosing fear. They think they're choosing comfort, security, familiarity. But what are they really doing? Burying their greatness under excuses, trading power for comfort, selling their legacy for security. Let me be clear. Nobody remembers the silent person. They don't build statues for those who avoid failure. Who influences the world? Those who fear but move anyway. Those who stand tall and speak. Those who step forward even with trembling voices and knots in their stomachs. What does fear offer? It will always offer comfort. What does legacy demand? It demands discomfort, pain, sacrifice, risk. It demands you decide. What matters more? Others' opinions, or your own opinion of yourself when your time is up? Ask yourself, when you're gone, what will your life say? Will it be a whisper of missed chances and silent regrets, or a roar of someone who chose purpose over paralysis, action over avoidance, courage over comfort? You don't need to know every step. Just refuse to let fear have the final word. Because your legacy is being written either way, and only one version ends with you free. If fear is a liar, your routine is the truth teller. Because it's not just mindset that slays fear, it's movement, not one big heroic act, but the habits that turn courage into your natural state. The fearless are not born brave, they are forged by discipline, and every day they perform small rituals that suffocate fear before it has a chance to speak. Morning ritual. First, do something uncomfortable. Not huge, not reckless, just something that makes your heart beat a little faster. Cold shower, honest conversation, difficult call. Why? Because the nervous system must be trained, and when you teach your body to survive discomfort, fear begins to lose its grip. Second, move physically. Lift, run, walk. Movement kills stagnation, and stagnation is fear's playground. When you move your body, your brain follows. Confidence builds, clarity returns, energy rises, and there's no room for fear in a moving body. Third, speak power into your mind. Affirmation is not corny, it's war. The thoughts you rehearse become the beliefs you carry. Every morning, stand tall and say, I am not afraid. I am not here to shrink. I am here to lead. Say it until you believe it, then act in a way that makes it true. Fourth, win the first battle. Make your bed, show up on time, finish the task you don't want to. Because when you start your day with a win, fear loses a piece of its power. And when you stack those wins, you build momentum, and momentum makes the impossible feel inevitable. Evening ritual. Every night reflect and ask, where did fear whisper today, and where did I push back? This is how you refine, how you get sharper. You become unshakable, not by avoiding fear, but by facing it again and again until it breaks before you do. A fearless life is not an accident. It's built with intention, with repetition, with ruthless self-respect. If you want to kill fear, don't wait to feel brave. Train it, build it, practice it. One bold action at a time. Today, we don't just talk about fear, we lay it to rest. The truth. Fear dies when you stop feeding it, when you stop bowing to it, when you realize it has no real authority, only the power you've given it. From this moment on, you take that power back. No more waiting, no more hesitation, no more shrinking to fit others' comfort or your past's lies. You were not born to live small. You were not designed to tiptoe through life, avoiding danger. You were built to walk through fire and emerge forged. So this is the moment. Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. Now. You bury the fear. You silence the doubt. You take the first step, then another, until you no longer remember what it felt like to be ruled by hesitation. When fear shows its face again, as it always will smile. Because now you know its game. You've studied it, outlasted it. You've trained your mind and body to walk forward anyway. Fear doesn't get a vote in your future anymore. Only your vision does. Only your mission does. So stand up, straighten your spine, look fear in the face one last time and say, "Thank you for the lessons, for the growth, for the clarity." And then say, "Goodbye." Because you're done letting fear decide who you get to be. This is your time now. You are fearless because you chose to be. But this is only the beginning. In the next chapter, we will go deeper into how to build unshakable confidence, not in theory, but in daily action. You've killed fear. Now it's time to build the warrior. So, subscribe now, because fear may be behind you, but your future is just getting started. Your other self, the one who never hesitates, never retreats, always moves forward. That self is you. Just awaken it. Now go, move, live. Not fearless, but courageous. Not perfect, but progressing. Not ready, but starting. Your time begins now.